Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an incredible day. To start things off, this is an opinion and not direct financial advice. The co-founder of Morgan Creek Digital, his name is Anthony Pompliano, is laying out his top investments over the next 18 to 24 months. In a new letter to investors, the outspoken crypto advocate says Bitcoin is his #1 pick to surge in the aftermath of all of this nonsense that's been going on, giving it a score of 11 out of 10. Doesn't make sense, but I think I understand. Pompliano points to Bitcoin's halving, which will cut the rate of new Bitcoin entering the market in half, as a stark contrast to increased money printing and quantitative easing from governments around the world. He said, you have a positive demand shock happening at almost the same exact time that you have a negative supply shock. This is going to be rocket fuel for the decentralized digital currency. As for his price targets, Pompliano says he believes Bitcoin will land between 20,000 and 100,000 over the next 2 years. That is such a wide range. The second best investment, according to Pompliano, is equities. He gives stocks an overall rating of 8 out of 10. It says the recovery will be direct for sectors that are directly impacted by what's been going on. So the big risk here is that these companies could go bankrupt because most of their revenue has evaporated. I am not a believer that this will happen. Instead, it is more likely that we will see a significant consolidation in sectors overlaid with government assistance to prevent the destruction of entire industries. This is actually quite true. There are a number of places, especially for context. If you Google around and the phrase where to invest during recession or during a recession or during the recession, any way you kind of want to type it in there, a lot of people are wondering the exact same thing. What do I put my money into when the market is going down, when all markets are going down? What may be the best place to put my money into? A lot of people, people who are into crypto, about a good 90% say exclusive crypto. The other 10% say crypto, equity, stocks, mutual funds, and things like that. Especially in the, once again, for context, for like major brands. I won't name any major brands because I don't want to push you in any specific direction as to where you might think about potentially investing. It's more of a always look for companies that have been around for a very long time, that are very strong, that have not faltered and will not falter during this recession, the last recession, or the recession before that. They're usually big names, big food restaurants. Another really good one is to look at companies that make things for household items, household cleaners or diapers. There are a couple of companies that should come to mind, especially if you look around your house and look at the names on a lot of these things. Even if we do have a more severe economic downturn right now, these companies are very likely to pop back. It's also important to look into company. If you do decide to get into stocks, I myself, this is why I said this is not financial advice. It's more of an opinion piece, if you will. I focus solely at the moment, heavily, I'll say heavily, on crypto. My art and real estate stuff, I'm still going to buy more real estate because I like real estate. But the other, especially, oh my gosh, I'm actually a bit too excited about property prices falling, and I know that I shouldn't be. It'd just be a lot easier to pick up stuff. The other point being, as far as crypto, while stocks will recover, this is definitely true. Many of them may have periods or years where they go up by 38, 48%. Those type of gains, those movements in percentage-wise, can be had in the cryptocurrency market within a week. So I don't think that crypto has hit its top. I don't think it will for quite a long amount of time. And I think there are a number of even cryptocurrencies right now that I think are even things that I don't really care for. I'm not going to name those either. If you've been watching the channel, you know exactly what I don't care for. A lot of these things are extremely undervalued. We have certain coins that hit an all-time high before of $1.40. They're now 2 or 3 cents now. It is probably highly more likely that these coins that are 2 cents will hit 50 cents more than it is a stock that's 500 will hit $13,000, $14,000 over the next 2, 3, 4 year period, especially because a flip from 2 cents to 4 cents is already a 100% increase. So there's just a lot to going on within the cryptocurrency space. But I have seen for some reason a really huge uptick in friends asking me like what stocks should they buy. I guess maybe it's kind of like a thing that they're hearing from other people, and everyone's like, "Oh, I'm going to buy some stocks," because everyone. I think a lot of people learned their lesson from the last stock market crash. Someone was asking me in the comment section. I thought I assumed that I had explained enough, but I guess I had not. Someone was asking, how did people make money off of the last stock market crash? I think the confusion lies in people think that as the market was going down, these people were like, money. No, it's when you pay attention to things. Let's say, for instance, the price of Bitcoin is 10,000. As the year goes on, we're in a huge recession. Everything is being wiped out, every single thing. Bitcoin eventually at some point ends up hitting $250. Do you think Bitcoin is then undervalued? If you think Bitcoin is undervalued, then you buy Bitcoin. And at some point during the economic resurge, Bitcoin ends up hitting $10,000 again. This is how you make money. One of the ways to make money during a declining market. But there were a lot of people who made a lot of good money in the stock market around 2008, 2009, because they saw the crash was coming. They sold whatever else they had. They had their money waiting on the side. Stocks fell to unbelievable lows. Everyone was in a panic state. Everything, Lehman Brothers completely went away. Everyone's grabbing and pulling their hair out. This is when people started buying. By the time we got around to 2012, 2013, 2014, stocks had already recovered. They weren't exactly where they were before, but many stocks were a couple percentage points away from where they were in 2007. And then by the time we got to 2017, 2018, we were in this crazy raging bull market, and all these people who had bought up these stocks at very low rates then also profited immensely because their stocks had gone up by 2 or 3-fold. That's how you make money during a declining market, and this is why you may have noticed a lot of people are very interested to see exactly how low Bitcoin will go. Because if we have predictions, not only from Pompliano, but from banks and institutions and Coinbase and the NASDAQ and the stock exchange and this and the so-and-so, that Bitcoin by the end of this year or next year will be at 100K and you can pick up a Bitcoin for 4,000, you stand to make an enormous amount of money over the course of a couple of years. So this is, of course, on a lot of people's minds right now. A lot of people are losing their jobs, are losing a lot of money, not being at work. And I hope the one silver lining among many for this should be that people should get it into their heads that governments will not always be able to save us. They will not always have the answer. They will not always be able to pick you and your family up and say, here's $1 million, live well, long, and prosper. It's about you doing it yourself. You have to figure out how to invest, what to invest in. It's usually not that difficult to figure out what to invest in. Like I said, when it comes to stocks, look for companies that have been around for a very long time, have very strong names. Don't aim for penny stocks. Don't aim for things that you've never heard of, that your friend's uncle's mother's father gave you a tip on because a friend of his told him over in Japan that they should. No, just aim for really big names. Look at names that also recovered from 2008. 2009, around that time period, and who are still up significantly very much. You should know some of the names, research around as to the stocks that did very well from 2008, 2009, if you're interested in stocks. But as far as cryptocurrencies, for me, it's my personal wallet. It's almost a no-brainer. Certain coins that are 2 cents will eventually at least hit 20 cents. I'm not even saying that they're going to go back to their all-time high of $1.40, but that's still a 10x for what I had before. That's 1,000%. You'd be hard-pressed. I'm pressing hard on the table. Hard-pressed to find any stock that's going to give you back 1,000% within that same time period. Just saying that. Stocks looking cheap to Pompliano include hotels, airlines, and the food sector. I would aim for the food sector and luxury hotels, especially luxury hotels or food sector stocks or equities that have dividends, things that pay you back for holding them. Make sure that they have very big names. Airlines are not doing very well right now. A lot of airlines have closed down. I would, for the moment, look away from airlines, because airlines typically, if they have issues, and many have had them in the past, sometimes they fail, you lose a lot of money. Even major ones are not risk-free. So yeah, as for oil or petrol, Pompliano gives it a 5 out of 10 rating and says ultimately the commodity is too risky for him, especially compared to other opportunities that are emerging from the global economic pullback. Once again, there's not going to be a point where petrol, what is it, like 20 $22 a barrel is going to shoot up to 2,500 anytime in the near future. But I can point you to a couple of cryptocurrencies that are definitely probably going to do that within the same exact time period. Yeah, and anyway, much of the world is even moving away from petrol in the first place. This is why we're seeing like such competitive rates. A lot of other countries have figured out how to do solar, wind, water energy relatively inexpensively, and it's widely expected that within the next 10 to 15, 20 years, much of the world will actually be running on these renewable sources and will not have to rely on a lot of these things being dug out of the ground. This may be also why you have seen, hopefully you have seen, a lot of countries that once relied heavily on petrol, they are either not doing well or have shifted their focus to real estate, buying up stocks and bonds. You know, there are very oil-rich countries. If you look at the news for these countries, they have expanded into real estate, buying up real estate in other countries, buying up land, natural resources and stuff like that that don't involve oil or petrol because, yeah, finally, Pompliano gives gold an unsurprising rating of 3 out of 10. Although he believes assets that hedge against inflation will do well over the next 2 years, he doubts there is enough upside to invest in the popular precious metal. Gold does well typically during times of economic crises, but gold does not shoot up by 25% in a week, nonetheless consecutive weeks. Remember where we just had that situation? Rough numbers. Not even rough numbers. It's what happened. Where Bitcoin went from 3,000 to 14,000 over the course of a couple of months. Can you imagine gold? First of all, gold's not even at 3,000. Can you imagine gold going from 3,000 to 14,000 over the course of 4 to 5 months? Gold will definitely benefit, but we will definitely see a 3% rise over the course of a week, a 6% rise over the course of 2 or 3 weeks, a drop down by around 4%, a movement up. Like gold will fare well, but there's no way, and I tell you this right now, there's no way that gold is going to match the movements of Bitcoin, XRP, or Ether. It's just not going to happen. Like even Ether's at 140 right now, and its all-time high was 1,400. Gold, I think, is around 1,700. We will not be seeing a $16,000 gold anytime soon. Here's his actual rundown for all the things we just spoke about. It's on pomp.substack.com. The best and worst assets coming. I think this is going to be a very pivotal moment for the entire world. When we talk about the actual, I don't want to use the term creation of wealth, but things that will be able to help you get wealthy. It is widely expected, at least at the time of me making this video, that a lot of things on this planet will be punched down into the ground as far as their price. Going to be completely decimated. But things do recover when when things get too low, things eventually do pick back up. We've seen this. We've seen the 7, 8, 9 other recessions that we've had before this one. Stock market crashes, blah, 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 blah. You know the entire deal. People make tremendous amounts of money. And even within the cryptocurrency sector, cryptocurrencies are poised, in my opinion, for a very huge movement upward at some point. It could be when this entire thing is over. It could be in the next couple of months. It could be during the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. No one knows. That's the point. No one knows the actual future. However, going off of general understanding of a lot of these things, when things are priced too low or undervalued or are oversold, people tend to buy them and then the price ends up going back up. So we are going to see a situation right now where we are going to, high assumption, by the end of this year, I can already feel it, we're going to have a lot more Lambo talk and all this other stuff if people have made tons of money within the cryptocurrency space, because you'd better believe if our previous all-time highs within the cryptocurrency space were $3.60 for something, and it's currently at 15 cents, if we end up hitting $7 per that coin, I mean, untold amounts of money will be made. Anyway, like I said, it says bear market, where to invest $500 now. This is a very huge topic. Everyone's wondering where to. She looks stressed. It says 5 things to invest in when a recession hits. I've always liked dividend stocks, but even then, the cryptocurrency market has also shifted where we have a tons of cryptocurrencies that give like proof of stake mining to you. And that's also a form of dividends for simply just holding it. So I myself believe, if you haven't gotten the tone of this channel, that crypto is going to do exceedingly well. And I don't think many things are going to be able to hold a candle to it over the next couple of years. Anyway, that's that topic. It is a very big topic right now. People are wondering where to put their money exactly. As always, you have to do your own research. And when doing your own research, if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Please don't fall for any scammy websites that tell you you can park your money here and you'll get all tons of free money. Look into why they are willing to give you free money, because scams will be plentiful as people are trying to figure out where to park their money during these tough economic times. Let's move on. Next up, this was exactly what we were just talking about yesterday, but apparently now there's more news. A federal court judge today sided with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission against Telegram and granted a preliminary injunction in the social network's $1.7 billion ICO. In an opinion in an order filed on Tuesday with the New York Southern District Court, Judge P. Kevin Castell found that the SEC has shown a substantial likelihood of success in proving that Grams, or Telegram's, present plan to distribute grams is now an offering of securities under the Howey test. And when I read that part, I was like, no, they're lying. It's just the SEC. And then I read a bit further and I was like, ooh, it's not looking too good. The Howey test is a de facto test created by the Supreme Court for determining whether certain transactions qualify as investment contracts. In 2018, Telegram raised $1.7 billion in an ICO in exchange for a promise to deliver 2.9 billion gram tokens to just 175 people, who later would resell those tokens to the public for a handsome profit. Telegram argued that the agreement was lawful under a private placement of securities covered by Regulation D506C exemption. It sold grams under a so-called Simple Agreement for Future Tokens, or SAFT, which is an investment contract designed to provide a compliant alternative to an ICO. The SEC argued in October that the token sale for the Telegram Open Network, or TON blockchain, was illegal because grams constituted securities under U.S. law and sales of securities have to be registered with the SEC. Telegram has disputed the claim but argued to holding off launching the network until the case is resolved with the SEC. But apparently the judge said completely, not only can you not launch the blockchain, you also can't launch the cryptocurrency, as there's an injunction against them. We'll see how this turns out. Like I said, this is a continuation of what we were talking about yesterday, but it's not looking too good. 175 people were supposed to get 2.9 billion tokens. And the point of them getting those tokens was to resell it to us for a profit, which means that people bought something from a company with the expectation of profit for something they were buying. So, yeah, that's the update. Those of you who were wondering, and yeah, let us move on. In ever confusing news, the government of India is reportedly discussing a regulatory framework for cryptocurrencies with the central bank. Confusing. The Reserve Bank of India and the Securities and Exchange Board of India, or SEBI. Furthermore, the government is awaiting the outcome of another cryptocurrency case at the Supreme Court to make its final decision on crypto regulation. The Indian government has so far been quiet about whether it plans to regulate or ban cryptocurrencies. They've been pretty loud when it comes to this side. Well, there's a draft bill that seeks to ban all cryptocurrencies except state-issued ones, of course. Bloomberg Quint reported on Friday that the government is currently discussing the prospect of regulating cryptocurrencies with the central bank. Confusing, right? Citing people aware of the development, this was said by a journalist. The government is weighing whether the virtual currencies can be regulated by the Reserve Bank of India, which would be terrible. A framework for regulation will be decided upon after deliberations with the central bank. Do you want to know why it's terrible? Because the central bank lied to people for 3 years that cryptocurrencies were banned, and they knew that they were lying, and they didn't come forward to tell people the entire 3 years that it was a lie. So the fact that they would be able to regulate cryptocurrencies would be terrible. The discussions are at a nascent stage, but the framework may not permit the use of cryptocurrencies in the country's payment system. Of course not, and would not recognize them as legal tender, the publication noted. The digital currencies may be notified or approved by the RBI, and cryptocurrency exchanges could be recognized and regulated by the Securities and Exchange Board of India. This isn't too bad. As far as not permitting them as a payment system, we've seen a couple of other countries do this as well. They don't want it to be, they understand that when crypto becomes too popular, that people will want to use it as an alternative to using anything else. Why would I want to use an inflationary fiat currency when I could use something that is not inflationary and I know exactly how many there are? And the other part being, as far as not recognizing them as legal tender, that kind of goes into the exact same thing. It's more so we need people to be able to invest in cryptocurrencies, to be able to buy and hold them. That's the important part, because as long as people, was it 1.5 billion people in India, have the opportunity to be able to buy and hold crypto, and therefore they decrease the circulating supply even more, and the prices of it continue to rise, that they are able to then legally sell it for a profit should they do so. That's what's most important, that these people are allowed to get into the market, not so much being able to use it as legal tender. Because in 20 years, governments won't really have a choice and they'll have to initiate cryptocurrencies as legal tender. But we'll see how that all goes. That's just my prediction. Anyway, that was your confusing news for today, because between India and Russia, I think they're, what's the game, hot potato? I think they're just throwing the hot potato back and forth to try and see who can give the most confusing news about cryptocurrencies. Because one week they want to ban it, the next week they love it, the next week they want to ban it again. Next week they love blockchain, then they want to ban it again. And then they give out news about like regulation, but then the regulation ends up not being real. Anyway, that's the RBI discussion, India, Bitcoin news for today. Let's move on. In what I should say is completely unsurprising news, some crypto startups like Solana and Casper Labs are eager to execute fundraising plans regardless of any downturn the economy might be having right now. Likewise, Casper Labs, the startup advised by the Ethereum Foundation researcher Vlad Zamfir, is now partnering with the Singapore registered exchange BitMax to conduct its token sale in the form of an exchange validator offering. So not only do we have another new coin, but we have another new way of getting the coin through an EVO, an exchange validator offering. It's a really attractive opportunity to participate with the same terms that are usually only available to institutional investors. This was said by Casper Labs COO. The fundraising effort comes after the startup raised $14.5 million in 2019 from investors like Arlington XRP Capital and Terran Scott Pizer, who the New York Times dubbed Wall Street's jack of all trades. Sure. It originally focused on the Casper protocol experiments. Since then, CEO Mernal Manohar said the startup switched development of a new blockchain inspired by Ethereum's proof of stake. Plans for participants to deposit their tokens as a way to fuel the network. Manohar's teams of 26 developers and researchers out of a total of 34 plan to launch the new blockchain mainnet before 2021. Investor Michael Arrington said he's not sure whether his firm will participate in the upcoming token sale for Casper Labs' mainnet launch. So remember, we used to always talk about Casper Labs because Casper was helping Ethereum to develop Casper on their, like the upgrade on their blockchain. But it appears that the people from Casper Labs are now trying to not only make their own blockchain, but also make their own cryptocurrency. Not only making their own cryptocurrency, but they're going to have an ICO-esque EVO for the token sale. I bring this up for a number of reasons. These are, of course, my opinions. It is my head saying these things. I've noticed before that when other cryptocurrency project, blockchain building helper things find themselves done with something, i.e., we're done with the thing we were doing before, they always want to try and launch their own blockchain and launch their own coin. A lot of these have not survived, and I don't think that many in the future will be able to survive, simply because a lot of them, my opinion, are usually just mimics of other things. So For the sake of any confusion over the next couple of months, should anyone decide to ask me, I myself stay away from anything ICO, EVO, ABC related because governments usually come down hard on them. A lot of the other cryptocurrency projects that you may have noticed that we've been talking about over the last couple of months who had ICOs, fundraising prospects, or anything else that they may have been doing over the last couple of years, during any type of cryptocurrency economic downturn, when prices are down, when prices keep going down, these things end up closing. And a lot of the coins that people put their money into evaporate and become dust. Not saying that that will happen with Casper chain or whatever they're trying to call it, but just keep in mind, just because it's new and shiny does not mean that you should invest in it. Actually, the contrary, within the cryptocurrency space, is best to invest in what is the strongest and the most robust. Yeah, I saw that, and I thought it was quite interesting that yet again, someone else is trying to make another coin, another blockchain. I would say what I think about it, but I'm pretty sure you can gather most of my thoughts. Anyway, like I said, just be aware, just because it's new and shiny and making a new token does not mean that you need it or have to buy it, but just yeah. And to finish things off, someone created a YouTube account pretending to be Ripple's CEO Brad Garlinghouse to scam users. Surprise! The scammer promoted an XRP airdrop requesting deposits from 2,000 to 250,000 XRP to participate, offering high returns as a reward after an airdrop. Twitter user Andy Specure, co-founder of, oh, there we go, it's a company, co-founder of SPQR Media, was able to warn users to avoid this scam and make a call of attention to YouTube, demanding to be more alert to this kind of scams. I mean, YouTube can only do so much. These keep popping up everywhere. There have been an increasing number lately on the net. The scammers had surprisingly amassed over, here we go. The scammer actually amassed 270,000 subscribers. When you talk about the nonsense within the cryptocurrency space, it's weird, and not even just my channel, that other channels don't amass this many subscribers, but the obvious scams do. Isn't that a shame? Makes me a little annoyed. Not for the viewers, but that people are so easily fooled by these things. In the video description, the scammer asked YouTube users to send in donations, here we go, in the range of 2,000 to 500,000 XRP to a contribution address, so that they would immediately receive a reward from 20,000 to 5 million XRP, because of course, why not? The scammer even offered a bonus of up to 100% to those who participate. Despite being an obvious scam, Andy reported that neither YouTube, who either includes the video, it's actually as an ad on its platform or promotes it to, oh my gosh, it's being promoted to millions of users, or even Brad Garlinghouse himself made any statement about it. One, why would Brad Garlinghouse do that? Like, why would Brad Garlinghouse take out time from his day? He might not, I don't assume that Brad Garlinghouse or Andreas Antonopoulos or Vitalik Buterin are scrolling through YouTube trying to see if there are scams based on their names. They're probably, no, they're just not doing it. Here's another screenshot again. The point is, without having to really go much further, these keep popping up. Don't assume that because this one is based off of XRP that you can go into the comment section and say, see, I told you XRP is a scam. Nope, this is happening for every single coin. It just so happens that this one got 276,000 subscribers over the course of a couple of weeks, months, who knows the exact time frame. I dare say the words, please be vigilant. I hope you all know this already. I'm always fearful that there's at least one, if not 500 people who don't understand. These have been popping up for a while, and part of the problem is they do very well. That's the worst part. There have been many of these before, and a lot of the people, remember the other ones who were talking about that they would give, if you send them 1 Ether, they would send you back 5. These people sometimes make anywhere from 6 figures to over a couple $1,000,000 over the course of weeks because people, for some reason, don't realize. Like, that's like me saying, send me a Bitcoin and I'm going to send you back 10 Bitcoin. That's never going to happen. That's just not a thing. So why would anyone, why would Brad Garlinghouse? This would mean that Brad Garlinghouse is actively sitting on YouTube at a chair, waiting for people to send him money so that he can send it back to them. Sounds nonsensical, right? Sounds a little out there. Like, imagine Bill Gates being like, hey, send me your old computer and I'll send you back 10 computers. Why would Bill Gates be doing that? He's Bill Gates. Anyway, yeah, these are popping up a bit too quick. And this is when the cryptocurrency market is like down. So imagine when the market is actually up, we're going to have an avalanche of scams that are going to be popping up. If you have any friends who you think might not have the brain capacity to be able to tell the difference between a scam and what's not a scam within the cryptocurrency space, please either send them this video or have a stern talking to them so that they don't lose any money, because I already know I have about a good 2 friends. Should the cryptocurrency market start going up, they'll have put their money into some other coin that doesn't even exist yet. That'll be made a week after the market start going back up, so that they can make some good fake money. Anyway, that is going to end this edition of News I Missed. A lot of stuff. Wow. A lot of stuff going on within the cryptocurrency space. I'll try to keep everyone updated as to what's going on. But sometimes it takes a lot out of me to be able to put together multiple videos back to back to back to back to back. I do hope, however, that you all enjoyed. I do hope that you all have a great day, great morning, a great afternoon, or great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it's absolutely fantastic. Don't forget, even, you know what you should be doing? If you are stuck at home right now, you should be doing your due diligence. Take an hour out of your day. It's not like you can do anything else. And learn what to invest in. Learn what some of the most major companies are. Learn what the major cryptocurrencies are. Read their white papers. Go through exactly why people are so bullish on Bitcoin. A lot of people keep asking me, why am I so bullish on Bitcoin? It would take me about a good 5 videos or the 1,000 something videos I already made to be able to explain it to you. There are a lot of prospects as to why I am bullish on certain things and not others. Yeah, you should use this time to research, to invest in yourself, man, as many people say, because when the market is going up, you want to be able to know not only what to put your money in, but also if you plan on pulling out because you want to buy a new house, you should also be able to learn how to time markets and realize when something is a bit too hot. Thank you all very much once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.